The Dunblane Massacre, a tragic and devastating event that unfolded in the small Scottish town of Dunblane on March 13, 1996, is a dark chapter in the history of gun violence. This heart-wrenching incident claimed the lives of 16 innocent children and their teacher, leaving a community shattered and a nation in mourning. In this video, we will delve into the details of the Dunblane Massacre, its aftermath, and its impact on gun control legislation in the United Kingdom. On that fateful day, Thomas Hamilton, a 43-year-old former Scout leader, entered the Dunblane Primary School armed with 4 legally owned handguns. These handguns included 2 9mm Browning pistols and 2.357 Magnum revolvers. Hamilton's deadly intentions soon became clear as he opened fire on a Primary 1 class of 5- and 6-year-old children. The ensuing chaos and horror are difficult to comprehend. The young victims had their whole lives ahead of them, filled with dreams and potential, but their lives were tragically cut short. Their teacher, Gwen Mayer, also lost her life while trying to protect her students from the hail of bullets. In the end, 16 children and 1 teacher were killed, and 15 others were injured before Hamilton turned one of his guns on himself. The immediate response to the Dunblane Massacre was a combination of shock, grief, and disbelief. The entire nation of Scotland, and indeed the United Kingdom as a whole, was plunged into mourning. Candlelight vigils were held, and floral tributes poured in from across the country. Dunblane became a symbol of tragedy that touched the hearts of people worldwide. The grief and anguish of the victims' families were immeasurable. They had to grapple with the sudden and senseless loss of their loved ones. In the face of such tragedy, the people of Dunblane, and indeed the entire nation, came together to offer support and comfort to the grieving families. In the aftermath of the Dunblane Massacre, there was a groundswell of public outcry demanding stricter gun control measures in the United Kingdom. The fact that Hamilton had been able to legally acquire the firearms he used in the massacre raised serious questions about the country's gun laws. Hamilton's troubled history further exacerbated these concerns. He had been the subject of numerous complaints regarding his behavior around children during his time as a Scout leader. However, due to legal loopholes and lax regulations, he was able to retain his firearms licenses. One of the most significant responses to the tragedy was the formation of the Snowdrop Campaign, named after the snowdrop flowers that were in bloom at the time of the massacre. This campaign was led by a group of parents and citizens from Dunblane who were determined to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. The Snowdrop Campaign collected over 750,000 signatures on a petition calling for a ban on the private ownership of handguns in the United Kingdom. This massive show of public support demonstrated the depth of feeling on the issue and put immense pressure on the government to take action. In response to the public outcry and the Snowdrop Campaign's efforts, the British government took swift action. Just over a year after the Dunblane Massacre, the Firearms Amendment Act 1997 was passed by Parliament. This new legislation effectively banned the private ownership of handguns in the United Kingdom, with few exceptions. It imposed stricter controls on shotguns and air rifles as well. The act also introduced measures to ensure that individuals applying for firearms licenses were subject to more rigorous background checks and evaluations of their mental health. The Dunblane Massacre left an indelible mark on the United Kingdom and had a ripple effect internationally. In the United States, which has long grappled with gun violence, the Dunblane tragedy became a powerful example of the consequences of lax gun laws. Advocates for gun control in the U.S. pointed to Dunblane as evidence that stricter regulations could prevent similar horrors. The Dunblane Massacre also spurred global conversations about gun control and mental health. It highlighted the importance of identifying individuals with dangerous tendencies and preventing them from obtaining firearms. The tragedy served as a somber reminder that gun violence knows no borders and that every nation must be vigilant in its efforts to protect its citizens. The Dunblane Massacre is a painful chapter in the history of gun violence, but it is also a story of resilience and the power of collective action.